Most embarrassing situation you've been in. Story inside. Doubt anyone can top it. My story. When I was 13, a doctor wrote me an adult dose for a certain medicine based on my weight. I was a fat kid. Our body does not work that way, and the medicine ended up constipating me for a month. I did not shit for a whole month. I got sick. I had raccoon-like eyes. My stomach would jump or flutter by itself. I had cramps, etc. It was bad. I was miserable. I finally told my parents how long it had been since I had shit, and they freaked out and took me to the hospital. There, they gave 3 enemas back to back. After the third and final one, all that water softened all that shit up just enough I could expel it. I ran to the nearest bathroom, gown open in the back, and tried to make it to the toilet. I didn't. My ass was hovering at a 45-degree angle above the toilet when the geyser burst. This next part is not a lie, but I know some of you will think it is. I got shit everywhere. On the ceiling, somehow, on the floor. The toilet was covered. The walls. Even the sink got hit with some spray. Shit was literally, yes literally, sprayed on all walls and ceiling. It was everywhere. I felt like a new kid after that. Cleaned myself up the best I could and then had to figure out what to do. There was no way I could clean it all up. I needed a janitor. So I walked out and politely told a nurse the bathroom needed clean up and badly. A janitor was only a few rooms down for some reason, so I saw him go by to clean it. But he did not know who I was. He got to the bathroom and the whole heard, "Oh hell no, I ain't cleaning this up." I quit. And he did. I felt so bad. Still do. I made some poor janitor quit his job over a shit-caked bathroom. I'm not going to spend too much time with the details, since this will likely just get buried at this stage of the post. My most embarrassing moment happened while I was working at a camp for the summer. I was a camp runner, meaning that I was the guy that drove into town for whatever reason. At night I'd sleep in a room with about 10 other guys, and the bathrooms were big and always busy, so I was completely abstinent nearly the entire summer. So one day I got a call that I had to pick up a camper girl who had been bitten by a spider and take her to urgent care. It was policy that if I was driving a camper of the opposite sex somewhere, there had to be another adult, 18 plus, of the opposite sex riding with us. The other adult that came with us was this cute girl that I had had a few conversations with prior. I was somewhat sleep deprived at the time, and she knew this. So as she had her camp driving clearance and knew the way to the urgent care, she offered to drive, and I accepted. The camp was in the middle of nowhere, so the ride to the urgent care was pretty long. In that time I fell asleep. I woke up with my dick hard as a rock and the head of it poking out of the leg of my shorts. Before I was able to get my bearings, I felt a surge of pressure and proceeded to ejaculate onto the glove compartment door. Immediately I heard both a shriek and a girl yell, "Oh god. Holy shit no." I turned and looked at both girls. Both of them had obviously seen what happened, and both of their faces were like beet red. The car was absolutely silent for the next 10 minutes apart from the sounds of me attempting to wipe up my semen with an old McDonald's bag. Finally we reached the urgent care, and I dropped them off. After talking with the girl that drove the next day, I had apparently been hard for like 10 minutes. Both of them were fully aware of it, but both were too embarrassed to wake me up. That was the worst. TL. Doctor. Worked at camp. In car with 2 girls I barely knew. Had wet dream. Ejaculated on glove compartment. I was 15, and I was at Sam's Club with my parents. I was in the video game section playing some demo on a PS2. I felt like I needed to fart, so I pushed a little. It felt like I had let a silent one out, because I didn't hear it, and it smelled terrible about 2 seconds afterwards. Per usual. About 30 seconds later, the smell is still lingering, and I was just proud that I had caused that much damage to the air. My sister, 7, comes up to me and asks where I got the chocolate milk, and how I spilled it on my leg. I look down. There's liquid feces on my right leg, was wearing blue Nike shorts and boxers. I'm terrified. I have poo on my leg. I casually walk to the bathroom. Here comes the embarrassing part. I'm in the stall, cleaning up my leg, trying to figure out what the hell to do with my boxers, which are covered in poo water. I can't keep them. The car will smell on the ride home. I can't leave them in the stall. There were people waiting. I had to flush them. Well, apparently, boxers don't flush well. Toilet backed up, flooding the entire stall and spreading to the rest of the bathroom. I'm freaking out. But I'm clean. I got most of the poo off my leg. A janitor has entered the restroom, and I exit the offending stall. He asks what happened, and I can't speak. I should have, because the boxers were still in the toilet, clearly visible. I just casually walk out. Meanwhile, my parents were ready to leave and couldn't find me. They aren't super hover parents, but they got worried because I wasn't in the video game section or the candy section. This ordeal was going on 10ish minutes long. Apparently my sister told them that I walked towards the bathroom with an older man. So, my parents are assuming the worst and get the security and management involved. Back to the bathroom. I'm trying to walk out. The janitor finds the boxers and is all huffy puffy. The manager is walking down the hallway towards the bathroom to try and handle the missing child with old man situation. I'm trying to leave the bathroom to handle the holy shit. I just put my pants and clogged the toilet with my boxers situation. Manager stops me, asks me if I was in any type of situation, and I don't know how to answer. I tell him there was an incident in the restroom. He takes that as something happened to me with the old man I was apparently stolen by. He radios the security to contact the police and to have them head towards the restrooms. I freak out. I didn't think flushing my underwear warranted the police getting involved. My parents get to me, ask if I'm okay. I'm too embarrassed to tell them what happened. Still, without knowing what their perception of the matter was, I said I'm fine. Security is rushing over, asking me if he's still in there. I have no idea what they are talking about. They ask me what happened. There is a gathering of rubberneckers trying to see what is going on. I'm really confused why this is a huge deal. I confess. I tell them that I mud-butted down my leg and tried to flush my underwear down the toilet, clogging it in the process. The looks I got. Worst part was, the police were there in like 5 minutes, and I had to tell them exactly what happened to me. After the seriousness of the situation wore off and everyone realized I wasn't molested by an old man, many laughs were had at my expense. My father to this day still brings this up. Family gatherings, at my wedding, holidays, TL, doctor, liquid poo ran down my leg. My sister told my parents I was abducted by a molester. Clogged toilet. Had to tell police I sharted. Edit, grammar and formatting. Was sleeping over at a girlfriend's house. In the middle of the night I needed to take a leak. So I got up and went about my business and went back to bed. In the morning I wake up next to a slender Burmese man. I was extremely confused and I look out the doorway and see her standing there signaling me out. TL, doctor, slept with my girlfriend's dad. May not beat yours. Certainly most embarrassing moment of mine and my wife's. Got my wife an early birthday gift. Smartphone. First ever for her. She'd been using some old indestructible Nokia forever. I wanted to bring her into the 21st century. Data, social networking, GPS, etc. Her actual birthday rolls around. Even though I got her the phone, I had nothing for the actual day. After morning out of bed ritual of shower and teeth brushing, I decide to sexy myself up. Oil all over me. Tie and some shirt cuffs. I'm nude save B-listed attire. Was going for Chippendales dancer. Call her back. She is rolling in this. Just loves it. Takes a picture with her new phone. Plot thickens. We go fishing. Catch a few, head home. Fillet and cook the fish. Truly looks like a gourmet meal. Wife takes a picture of the fish with the phone. It's late now, day is over, wife is off to bed. I decide to stay up and play some video games on the PC. Before she went to bed she was uploading pictures to Facebook. Fishing and the meal, etc. First image she uploads is my nude shot. Thinking it was the prepared fish fillets. Now titled dinner yum! Exclamation mark. Exclamation mark. Wife couldn't figure out how to delete this accidental post on the new phone. She's screaming, running through the whole house to the computer room where I am. Kicks me off forcefully. What I see is, to my amazement, me nude on Facebook. Already took comments. Post deleted. Mission success. Wrong. Post was deleted, not the mobile upload photo to albums. Needless to say, 13 some odd hours later, finding more comments of praise and family disgust, realize what has actually happened. TL. Dr. Wife got her first smartphone, accidentally uploaded a photo of me nude to Facebook, where it was viewed by everyone we know. When I was in the Navy, I was standing watching the engine room one day, or night, I don't remember. I was on a submarine, so you lose track of those kinds of things. Anyway, it was during a workup for a reactor safety exam, so all of the engineering depth was tired from running drills during their off hours, when they would normally be sleeping. About halfway through my 6-hour watch, I had to shit, but I didn't want to wake someone up to stand my watch while I pooped, so I held it in like a boss for 3 hours until my relief came. By the time I was screaming down the P-way to the watertight hatch, I had to go so bad I was almost puking. But the watertight hatch that separates the engine room from the forward compartment is about 2 feet off the ground, too high for me to just bend my legs at the knees and scoot through. My anal clench is the only thing holding back this fecal maelstrom, so I undog the hatch. It's a big mechanism. Takes a few seconds to open and lift one leg to get it through, and my colon unloads with a fury unmatched. Tube 1 has been launched, and the charge is currently running out of my boxers, out through the leg of my coveralls, onto the deck, and rolling a few inches to the horrified gaze of the rest of my watch team standing behind me, through the strange mixture of embarrassment, shame and nausea from having to poop so bad. I can't manage to say anything except oopses. Luckily, I'm an engineer, so I have a rag in my back pocket. So I go to scoop it up, bending over straight-legged and cheeks hugging, like high school sweethearts. I walk through the hatch with shit in hand and head forward. The first room you hit when you head forward is the mess, where most of the crew who is awake and not on watch hangs out, watches movies, plays games, etc. Right now, it's full of off-going watchstanders having whatever meal is being served. I go to toss the rag in the trash, and one of my buddies who watched this whole thing unfold is standing in the middle of the mess deck and shouts, "Hey Mickey, WTF are you doing? You can't throw shit in the trash." Which is actually true. We compact all of our trash and jettison it. Anything that has liquid in it cannot be compacted, or it will lose out the side of the compactor and possibly squirt the poor kid that has to operate the machine. So I'm standing there with a piece of shit in my hand. Half the crew is there, chewing on chicken wheels and staring at me and my bundle of joy. That was the most embarrassing thing I think I've ever had to endure. My dad once caught me ducking an Alf doll. I'm a big guy, but my fiance's female Australian Shepherd always acted dominant around me and tried to hump my leg on several occasions. So one day on the back deck, it tried to hump me again. So I decided to show her who's boss. I grabbed her from behind and started humping her. I did this for, I don't know, 10 seconds. When I looked up, the new neighbors, who just bought the house next door, were all standing in the yard holding their cardboard boxes, just watching me. At the moment, I thought it will seem odd if I stop humping now, so I kept humping and just waved to them casually. They didn't say a word, and the next week, put the house back up for sale. 7th grade Spanish test. It's all quiet in the room. I'm a long-haired, greasy, socially awkward geek. I feel a sneeze coming on, but decide to hold it back so as to not draw attention to myself. I try, but cannot contain the sneeze inside. It takes the path of least resistance out of my body, my completely stuffed up nose. The sound is incredible. The snot tent is amazing, fully formed spider web of snot between my desk and my face. The classroom turns to look at me and sit in stunned silence. After about 10 seconds, the girl in front of me, the hottest 7th grader in school, says loudly, "That's gross." Everyone laughs. I try to disappear. This one has haunted me for years. It was the first week of 10th grade, and I was new at my high school. My other new kid friends and I sat down at a table in the cafeteria, and another new girl sat down with us. She was in a wheelchair, so I expected her to be really timid and introverted, but she was actually sarcastic and funny, introducing herself and making jokes about being in a wheelchair. Example, "I'm trying out for field hockey, apostrophe. Me, wait. Really? Apostrophe. Ha 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 no you idiot. I'm in a wheelchair. Apostrophe. Eventually one of my friends boldly asks her about how she ended up in a wheelchair. She says it was cancer. My friend asks which kind. She responds, leukemia. Have you heard of it? Apostrophe. Now, bear in mind, she was funny. She really was. And mon, who hasn't heard of leukemia? So my gut reaction to her response was that it must be a joke. I mean, everyone's heard of leukemia. It was too late. I burst out laughing. I immediately realized what had happened and tried to cover it up by gasping. It only made it worse. Everyone at the table glared at me. I spent the rest of lunch in absolute silence. And I never spoke to her again. TL. Doctor, don't laugh at leukemia. Ever. Deleted. When I was 14 and almost always thought with my penis, I decided it would be great to masturbate with a condom on. Liked how it felt, and did it all the times for about a week. They also happened to be my dad's condoms. So, long story short, my mom realizes that so many condoms are missing and thinks my father is having an affair. Comes crying to me about it, and my initial reaction is to deny any speculation that I use the condoms. After realizing that this may end my parents' marriage, I ran upstairs, and with tears coming from my eyes I explained to me mom that I use them, not for sex, but for masturbating. I cried for an hour. TL. Doctor used dad's condoms for wanking. Mom thought he was cheating. Had to tell mom I like to masturbate with condoms. You may have been crying, but you were quite a man to own up to it. Please subscribe and leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of Reddit Universe.